Andy, then
Um,
nothing to add.
I think, to be honest, I think that it's almost inevitable, but don't quote me too hard on it. I think that it's going to be an inevitability for the space. I mean, one of my biggest concerns for it is that the problem of why we created this and where this is the solution of this is the problem is still there. The reason why we have decentralized finance is to remove ourselves from institutions and elitism control. Is that one of the reasons why we created this concept was to remove states having power over the individual. One of the biggest issues with modern society is the authoritarianism and totalitarianism of society, is that we are being manipulated very deeply now, especially with new technology that's able to track not just our spending habits, but throw on our sleeping habits, our entertainment habits, our walking habits. They can track things, and people are using this information and leveraging that information to provide power for themselves from private companies, and who are people who are doing it with multiple reasons. Some doing it for the betterment of society, some not so much. But we can't focus too much on whether they're doing it good or bad, because our moral standing is going to be an individual moral standing. So I think the tipping point is going to really show itself in the next few years as the elder people of society who are not very technically savvy. They're not really comfortable with computing and programming. And as the new generation comes through, who are much more technically savvy, who are much more high understand of how gaming works. Even gaming provides so much education for problem solving and digitalized thinking. So as that wave of people come in, once the tipping point happens, yes. But the problem is, what will come first? Will we have decentralization and freedom and independence and financial freedom, or will AI be our overlord and we bow down to our new god, and AI elements are controlling the world? I think that the best projects in the future for mass adoption are going to be in the form of super apps. Super apps are like all-in-one packages. They integrate a lot of different things. One of them is like Legion Network, which is a super app, and it just provides so many services in one. I think these are really hot right now. Like in China, they have WeChat. It's a super app. People pay their bills from it with it. They are able to talk to their friends, create group chats, watch news, watch entertainment, have social media, and they're able to do that all in one place. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to do that. I think like one of the current best ways, one of the best analogies I've heard about the current state of Web3 and the current state is that we're just building the train tracks. So like back in the 18th century and the 19th century, we're building train tracks in society, connecting points in the real world. Now we're connecting points in the digital world. We are planting these train tracks, connecting from one point on the planet to another. And the speed in which these points are interacting with each other is vast. It's like wormholes. You're getting from one place to another. Yeah, so I guess mass adoption for me, is almost inevitable. I think it's going to happen. This is just technology, and AI is happening, guys. It's on the way, it's real, and there's so many people doing so many things and this is just the beginning, and we're just at the earliest stages. We're young, we're children in the eyes of AI right now. Give it another 100, 200 years at least, and then you're looking at a whole different society and a whole different form of human being. So the question of whether we're ready for it is another question, but I think we are. I think we're totally ready. We're totally ready for this. Let's accept it. We've looked back in the past and we've seen how humans have been. Imagine a world where you don't need to rely on food. It's like food, or at least like farming for food. Now we don't need to do that anymore. It's crazy to think that the things that we were territorial about in the past, we're no longer territorial, because we've now got this whole digital world that we can explore, and it's in abundance, and the size of the internet weighs as much as a bloody like 2 or 3 strawberries. It's okay. There's abundance for us all in the digital world, in the metaverse. So let's reap the rewards of it now. because when the collapse happens and it's the end of humanity, that's in the future. So at least then we can enjoy it as much for now.
Thank you. Yeah. Kenneth, do you agree?
Yes, of course. We have, we work with some AI projects. We work with some robotics, IoT, Internet of Things, and in fact, all of those, even the giant companies or brands are using AIs right now, and they are trying to adopt it. For me, for mass adoption, we know that our youth is our future, right? So what if our governments will be put a curriculum for, let's say, elementary, or nursery, after they learn about math, basic codes, why not we can put, an exam about the blockchain, how the blockchain works, so that the people can, more creative from time to time, and they can create something new. They can protect, they can create a security about ourselves, because we know that this new generations are our future savior in the future. So if they can, if we train them from a little young, like 6, 7 up to onwards, they put the thesis, we put it to curriculum, they put in education. I think that's a good massive adoption, like 5 to 10 years instantly. If the government will be, announce that to the public, they don't have a choice. They need to learn it. If there is our mandatory is math, science, why not put blockchain? Analyze the blockchain, create something new, create this kind of thing, and the future is ours.
Yeah, but before blockchain, maybe the government should put, I don't know, like the normal HTML and CSS. In
right.
school.
CSS, right? But that's the thing, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think school is there to make smart people. School is there to create. Maybe I'm just a cynic and I'm negative, but that's fine. I don't mind being that guy. But I don't think schools are for people to make smart people. They make people to make good workers, obedient and do what they're told and do exams and do tests. And especially here in the UK, which is, a decent, education system. But nah, man, real life experience will make, if you really want to learn, I'd say learn it outside of school. I think the real skills come outside of school. But then I'm not a father, I'm not a parent. So I think parents have different perceptions about these things for their children. So
yeah, but mass adoption only on. If we have to wait for children now to grow, isn't it too much?
Too long. When it now, right?
Yeah. What do you think? Hi, Sam. Are you agree with this?
Yeah, I look. I agree with all of you. It's all amazing thoughts there, and mass adoption now. It's hard. It's not. Look, I'm very realistic guy. I'm a guy who look into facts. Okay, I look into facts. I look into numbers. I look into industry, landscape analysis and assessment, and I go and I meet people. And based on that, I will tell you where things is going and what's happening. That's how my brain functions. Now, no, it's not gonna happen now. This is the bad news, or this is the truth, or the sad truth. The ugly truth. Later, as Andy said, and we need to put 100 line as what the word that I will quote Andy is inevitable. It's happening. Whether the regulators, the government, Gen X, the boomers want to get in, doesn't want to get in, it's up to them. But it's happening. Blockchain is real. The only thing that didn't enable the digital assets, let's use another word than crypto, the digital assets world is in the past 20 years is we lacked the infrastructure technology. Now we do have the technology, which is the blockchain or decentralized ledger in general, right? So meaning it's happening. But I think now the way I see it is, I know Andy mentioned before that the whole idea is to fight centralization. Andy, I'm sorry to tell you, man, it's a lose war. They are much stronger than us. It's a lose war. And if I wanna contribute into that and liaise that, Malika, into mass adoption, unfortunately, we have to compromise and we have to find a legal framework so the investors can open up their fund so we can continue building, and then we can find the community and the client who will adopt our product. And this is how you create mass adoption. Sadly, this is against the ideology of all of us who wanted to fight centralization. It's a loose war. We have to compromise now because we cannot do that. We need the legal framework, and the legal framework is in the hand of the centralized authority. So the investors will be comfortable so we can continue building. So Malika, I mean, this is my thoughts to answer your question. That will be the only way I see it right now, at least for the next 3 to 5 years, to increase the percentage of the mass adoption 10-20% more. But eventually, as Andy said, it's inevitable. It's happening, you know. So that's really, you know, my thought about that.
Thank you. Yeah, Haitham, I totally agree with you. And as you said, yes, that the experienced investors and people with experience have to stand up. But I also agree with Andy, who said that the majority of people in the space are young. They don't have experience. So it's like contradiction a bit. What should we do now?
I think we need to have the merge of both into one corporation or one entity. So I'm like all of you, I work with a lot of startups, right? So, but most of the startups I worked with, the founders are, I mean, especially in 2019, 2021, literally boys from 18 years old, you know, till 27, 28. That's quite young, okay? So I think, and I think Ken who said that, or Andy, that really all the studies shows that mature entrepreneurs are up to 40 and above if you really want to have a maturity. So I think the solution I have, or the recipe, you guys agree or disagree, having the mix of both, having the merge, having some of the builders and the founders and the ideation and the energy of Gen Z coming, but we put some sort of mentoring and coaching from experienced people of, okay, you have all of this beautiful stuff, but let me educate you how it actually works in business. Some of those guys doesn't know even how to open an Excel sheet and build a business model. They don't know what does it mean profit and loss. They don't know how to build a business model around that product. So, and they're not supposed to know that because they are very young. You know, so we need those people to at least to coach them, to work with them. You know, they can have like a role or a board advisor or being in the board or being a CEO, but the executive layers, the executors can be the young one. So this is the way I see it, is to really have the mix of both.
Yeah, there has to be, right? The mature, educated need to pass on their knowledge and their advice to young children, to younger people. But nowadays, a lot of the things that were used in the past are barely applicable today. You know, with the way that technology advances, the things that people were using in the past have been sort of shrunken down into more simplified forms. So I'm curious to see how that's going to change the future of business and the future of macroeconomics.
I agree with you. I think in both they need to meet halfway, but also, Andy, I'm not talking people who are 60 and 70. Not that level. I'm not talking to those that should retire now, that they cannot get involved in this. Sure. You know. But you have Kevin O'Leary. I mean, the guy, he's quite senior. He's an investor, but listen to him or Mark Cuban. Listen to them when they talk about Web3 and blockchain and crypto. We learn a lot. I'm 38. You know, so I have 18 years of experience under my belt. So, but I'm not too old, like 70, like the regulators of the SEC in the States, for example, which. You know, that's why things are really bad there. So I think I'm talking about like the mid-range, you know, the mid-range with the young generation. I'm talking about maybe senior millennials with Gen Z, both they can work together on that and then find a way to build this maturity. You know, it's one thing that we need to learn is the market cannot afford more failures, especially for Web3, especially for crypto. Otherwise, literally, if we have some drops of investment now, we're not going to have any of that for a few years. So we need to escalate the level of maturity and we need to really build it up, take it slowly and maturely.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you. I think we can finish for now, but Ken, maybe you have something else to add and we can finish after that.
I guess I don't have to, I'm agree on what they are saying. I really appreciate this kind of talks. It gives a lot of, like a proper mind setting for our future, and most especially for our listeners right now, or those who watch this live session. So this kind of talks, I think this could really give a lot of value, most especially in the future. And I hope there are lots of Haitham, there are lots of Andy, there are lots of Ken, and of course you guys who keeps building from time to time. This kind of, because we are building a history here. We are building something that they didn't experience, We are here in the crypto space that they didn't experience, like for those millennials, for those Gen Z. Some says that Web3 is like, if you work in Web3, your 1 month is like 1 year in Web2. So I think that's quite a good shot for me. So I think that's it. I don't have any additional input.
Thank you, Ken. It was amazing summary, and thank you guys for joining, for your time. It was really amazing discussion, and I hope our audience also enjoyed the discussion. And if you want to connect with our speakers, you can check their contact information in the video description. And yeah, that's it. Malika, do you have something else to say?
Thank you so much, guys, for coming, for your time, and hope the bull run is coming soon and the builders don't have to work without money. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Speak soon. Bye.
Soon. Bye.